probably the biggest news around college football, news that came down late Wednesday. Ohio State hires Matt Patricia as defensive coordinator, the former head coach of the Lions, longtime Patriots assistant, was with the Eagles. His reputation is mixed, I think, to be nice, as someone who followed the Lions very closely. But just wanted to open up here first with you, Damien. You played for Matt Patricia
Mm-hmm.
in the weird situation of where he was, I think, calling the offense. That was that weird period in New
Mm-hmm.
England. But
Mm-hmm.
just as a player with him, what experience can you share that Ohio State players may now be soon experiencing?
Well, Matt Patricia he's a good football coach. He's very smart. He knows the X's and O's of the game. He obviously knows how to put together a championship caliber defense. He did that many times in New England. My experience with him was very, very different. And I think that it was very skewed because, he was in a position that he hadn't really been in. And, there were a lot of moving parts. We had a young quarterback. We had a lot of young guys mixed with a lot of old guys who had been used to Josh McDaniels. So it was a whole ordeal. And obviously, I think that, all those moving parts were contributing factors into why we didn't have very much success that year in New England. But that's, again, with him being on the offensive side of the ball. Now, when I look at him as a defensive coach, again, he has that championship pedigree where he knows how to get guys in the right position. He knows how to scheme up blitzes. He knows how to get guys to play really, really good man-to-man coverage, which will be really good for Ohio State because, with Ohio State's corners that they have with their secondary, guys like Caleb Downs, an excellent safety, Davidson Igbinosun, who came back, he is going to really refine their craft when it comes to playing man-to-man coverage. And those are two really, really talented guys that can do that. And, he's going to spread those fundamentals across the entire defense. And I think that that'll be beneficial for those guys once they get to the next level. And again, I think that it helps at the college level because, receivers aren't used to seeing as much man-to-man coverage. Like a lot of defenses in college football, a lot of zone, or they blitz a lot, play a lot of blitz zone, where they bring an extra guy, but they're just playing zone coverage and they like to have eyes on the quarterback. But when you got Matt Patricia in there, you can have lockdown corners just eliminate receivers on the other side of the ball. He'll teach them different techniques, how to play outside leverage when you've got one high safety, how to play inside leverage when they've got two high safeties, and just knowing where their help is and, being able to line up one-on-one across from the guys in front of them and be able to eliminate them from the game plan.
Yeah, so that will be interesting. It could be a pretty big schematic change, but as I'd mentioned before, Patricia's reputation is mixed. He was a pretty good defense coordinator with the Patriots the first time around. He pretty consistently had some top 10 defenses in there. They won the Super Bowl in 2016, 2017 against the Falcons. But he goes to the Lions. I'm a Detroit native. It did not go well. The Lions were atrocious under him. They fired him very quickly. The players hated him. They built the hill on the practice field, which he had brought from New England, which Damien has gone up and down plenty of times in New England.
More
Lions
than I wish.
it. Dan Campbell comes in, gets rid of it, and immediately changes the culture, and the Lions are really good. It didn't go well for Patricia in Philadelphia as well. Dame, what do you make of the reputation of Patricia, especially among players? I don't want you to have to throw anybody under the bus, so to speak, but there's not a lot of, it's just social media, but there's not a lot of people saying this is a great hire. I can tell you Michigan fans are very excited about this because they remember him as the head coach of the Lions.
Right.
Lions fans, many of whom are Michigan fans, are baffled by this. Ryan Day does have a NFL background with him as well. So what do you make of that in the feeling that people are not exactly buying Matt Patricia?
Well, I think a lot of Patricia's reputation has to do with the fact that he is a direct descendant of Bill Belichick. And whenever he left the Patriots, he tried to take that Patriot way and, take that to different programs, especially in Detroit, and make them adapt to that culture. Well, there's a reason why people say there is only one New England Patriot. There's only one Patriot way because Bill is the mastermind behind that. He is the only one that can effectively have that approach and make it successful and make guys buy into that and, have the success that he had. And I think that when you see other descendants of him, Josh McDaniels is another example who left and went to take the head coaching job in Vegas, and it didn't work out very well for him. I think it's more about when coaches try to take the Patriot way and then try to take that to these other programs and build those programs to be the same way. Because, like I said, players know there's only one New England, and people have mixed feelings, whether it's, okay, I want to go to New England because I want to be a part of, a brigade like that, or it's like, man, nah, I'm a pro. Like, I'm making a lot of money. I don't want to be dealing with all that hard stuff. Like, I don't want to deal with all that shit. So to me, I think the reputation just comes from the fact of he's from the Bill Belichick coaching tree. He tried to take Bill's philosophy and Bill's attitude. Like, that's another key component, not just the philosophy, but the military style attitude, and take it to other places. And, whenever there's players on a team who are looking at New England, be like, man, that's just hard. That ain't no shit that I want to be a part of. And then, somebody from that coaching tree ends up in front of them as their head coach, and then starts to try to make them do the same things. They're like, shit, this ain't New England. Like, this is Detroit. We're not used to doing all of that. So I think that's where he gets his bad reputation from. Is it fair? I'm not really sure. Because again, my only experience being coached by him was under, way, way different circumstances. But, is it fair? Is it not? I guess we'll see what he does with Ohio State's defense.
Yeah, we'll see. Pretty big splash hire, though. Former NFL head coach coming in. Obviously, Ryan Day added Chip Kelly last year, a UCLA head coach. It worked out. So we will see how that goes.